Today I want to show you guys everything that you need to know about the modeling mode inside Uefn, things that you can do, things that you cannot do, and how you should use the mode to get the best out of it. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Before we go into each and every single tool, we're going to look at the basics and things that we can do and cannot do inside the modeling mode. So the most important thing is obviously where can you find the modeling mode, and for that you're going to go up here and select the selection mode here, and we're going to go to modeling. It's pretty simple. You can also press Shift 3 to get it quickly up. So inside the modeling mode you will be greeted with a bunch of different tabs which give you different options to model. Before we start a deep dive into all of these, I want to quickly give you an overview of what these exactly do. So if you, for example, have a specific problem that you're looking for, you know where to look at, and you don't have to watch the entire video to find the problem that you're looking for. So the first one is obviously just a favorite. So for example, if you have a favorite thing that you always want to use, for example, the box and shapes, you can click to add to favorites here, and you will always have it in here, and you don't have to look for it if you need to. Let's jump into our first category, and I put the shapes and the create tab into the same category because they both create shapes out of nowhere. Obviously meaning that the shapes are pretty obvious. You can just drag them out and put them into your map, and you have the shape that you're looking for. I think the shapes tab is the most obvious one out of all of these because it basically shows you what you get. If you want a box, you drag it out, you get a box. You can obviously adjust it. We come to that in a second, but I think this one is pretty obvious. The create tab on the other hand is a little bit more complicated, but it gives you basically more customizable options. For example, you can draw shapes with your cursor, and then you can create them into your world. And this one also, for example, gives you the option to create patterns and merge two meshes together. Alright, so the next two categories are the ones that I like to call the assistant modeling tools, because these are not like direct modeling tools. They can do certain things, but I rather want to use these after or before I start using the modeling tools and create new shapes. And these two categories are the transform category, where you can basically transform your props. So if you click on it, you basically get the same option as, for example, you have up here. And the other category being the mesh ops, where you can simplify, remesh, and clean up your meshes. So the next one is the big one with the actual modeling tools. This consists of 4 tools, which we can find under the deform, the poly edit, the try tools, and the vox ops. So the deform tools have the option of sculpting, warping, and displacements. The next category is poly edit, and this is probably the one that people think of when they think of modeling in Blender, for example. This is the one where you can extrude shapes, you can have different operations, create loop cuts, and all that good stuff. Alright, so the next one is try tools, and this one is very similar to poly edit, but instead of editing the vertices or the edges, you're gonna edit the triangles. Last but not least for this category, we have vox ops, which basically allows you to smoothen out the shapes that you want to create and create smooth transitions between shapes that you want to merge. The last category, which I'm not going to cover in this video, when I have a separate video for this one, would be the UVs or textures. So this would cover the baking and the UV tab, but I'm quickly just going to go over the UV tab just to get the things right, but I'm going to have a separate video for that as well. So let's actually have a look at what we can actually edit inside the modeling mode and which things we cannot. You can see here that we have a red area and a green area, and they both look very similar. We have a car here, we have cubes, but one of them cannot be edited and the other one can be. Obviously the red one cannot be, and that is because these are Fortnite props. Fortnite props obviously come with Uefn, which is a special thing to Fortnite since it also works with the in-game Creative 1.0 version, which obviously allows you to create things inside Fortnite directly without having an editor. And you cannot use any of these in the modeling tools. These are basically blueprints which are read-only. You cannot use them. If you could somehow get out the static meshes, you could do it, but I haven't found a way to convert these into just static meshes, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't work right now. Having that said, what can you edit? And if you go into your modeling mode right here and just click on any box, it basically tells you what you can edit. And these are the static meshes, the volumes, and the dynamic meshes. Anything else should not be able to be edited inside the modeling mode. That obviously means, for example, skeleton meshes, which are the meshes you use for animations, cannot be used either. But for anything that fits the categories, you can model it. You do not have to use anything from these categories over here. You do not have to use anything. So for example, I imported this car from Fortnite porting into Uefn, which is obviously the exact same car as this one, but we can actually edit it. So for example, if we go here to the sculpting mode, we can go here and just, damage it a little bit, maybe just dent it in a little bit, and if we press accept here, for example, we can see that the car model got demolished, which is obviously a very nice thing to do. So one thing about these modeling tools in Uefn, or just in general in the Unreal Engine as well, most people do not use them to model very precise things. It is possible to model with them, and definitely a way to do it, but I would rather use these tools to adjust the modeling that you already made in Blender or anywhere else, or use it for gray boxing to get a basic understanding on how the level should look in the end. And that wraps it up for part 1, the overview. In the second part, we're going to go into the deep dive of every tool that you can use and how to use. So make sure that you have notifications on and you don't miss anything, and I will see you guys in the next part.